This is Deniz from Moonlight Astrology. Thank you for tuning in. Today I have special guest Rose Correa here.
Hi.
She is a clairvoyant psychic, and she's here to talk about dream interpretations. I know it's a little different from astrology, but I think it's in the same category, and I think all you guys will definitely enjoy what she has to say. And we'll also touch on synchronicity. We'll touch on the Taurus new moon that's happening today. So why don't you introduce yourself to us? Let everyone know what you do.
Okay, so my name is Rose. I started a business called True Potentials about a year ago. True Potentials is all about helping people close the gap between their temporal, three-dimensional self and their higher source aspect. And when you do that, you actually live in your true potentials and you feel a lot better.
That's awesome.
So that's what I do. I also use astrology to coach people back into who they are. And I use clairvoyance and sometimes, just helping people is a matter of giving them a message from a deceased relative or something like that. So it's always different every time. But that's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing that you can help people like that. I think there's just so many people out there that need that, and they don't really know who to go to or who to trust. So I'm really happy you're on my show, and you can connect with everyone out there. And how long have you been clairvoyant? Like how old were you when you started to have these visions?
Okay, so clairvoyance is really interesting because a lot of people actually experience it and they don't realize. So I've always been clairvoyant, but because of the society that I've grown up in, America, a lot of times if you're having visions or if you're seeing things or hearing things, you're going to go to the psychiatrist and you're going to get some prescription pills and try to fix it.
Right.
So the truth is, it's been my entire life. I didn't start using it as a tool in my work until about a year ago. So
Saturn return. Your Saturn return.
Perfect. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. I got into astrology right around my Saturn return as well. My whole life changed. I moved. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So I really resonated with astrology in my early years, like when I was about 15. Life happened, so I didn't get into it as much as I would have liked to. But I guess that's correct. The Saturn return is what really woke me up to, like, what are you doing, Rose?
Exactly.
You're not crazy. You have to do this.
Yes.
And it's a great time to do it, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel like so many people are, in a sense, waking up to it, or their minds are a little bit more receptive and open. So it is a beautiful time for it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I'd like to start off with dream interpretations. So tell us, how do you help your clients? What do you exactly do with the dream interpretation?
Okay, so first what I like to do is ask somebody to pick the most recent dream or a dream that had a big impact on you or reoccurring dreams. That's the first thing we like to do. Excuse me.
Sure.
Just guzzling down some water.
Hey,
okay.
Got a drink.
So once that happens, we basically go over the dream. So it's literally like step by step, the best you can remember. If you can't remember all of it, that's fine. You're usually going to remember really key things. Those are the things that you're supposed to remember. And then what I like to do is ask the person to take on each symbol one at a time. So this means that you're taking the symbol and you're personifying the symbol. You become the symbol. And so when you do this, it's really important for you to have an open mind. So let's say I have a dream about a cat and it's just staring at me. I don't know why I'm dreaming about a cat. What if I become this cat? What if I go into my dream, I remember how it felt, and I become the cat, and then I ask myself as a cat, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? More often than not, if you're open to this process, you're going to have the answer right away. Right. But it's really beneficial to have somebody help you, walk through that process.
Yes.
Because people have a tendency to think that they're crazy or I'm not a cat. That's ridiculous. But it's happening for a reason. You're being given information.
So what leads to someone to have reoccurring dreams? Is there a particular reason why someone would have the same dream over and over?
Yes, I think it's a cry I don't, I think cry of help sounds a little bit grim, but I do think it's kind of like a cry of help from the subconscious to get your attention and say, this is what is going on. Can you pay attention and try to integrate something? That's usually the case. It's calling for integration. Yeah.
So what can you tell us? Like, how would you help someone remember their dream? Like, what steps can someone do to remember it? Because most of the time I wake up, I don't really remember my dreams, or most people, I guess, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to remember your dreams, it's really important to look into the sleep cycles a little bit. You're more than likely going to dream when you're not in a deep sleep. So that means sleeping in or taking naps, sleeping when it's daytime or when it's light outside. That's a beneficial way to dream and remember your dream.
Oh, that's true, because I feel like I always dream during my naps. Like, I'll wake up and I'll be like, wow, that was a weird dream. And I was sleeping, for like 40 minutes, not even?
Yes.
So,
yeah. So it's a particular sleep, I forget what it's called, but it's a particular sleep cycle that you're going to look for. But also, when a lot of us, we wake up and we do remember our dreams, but then the dream goes away.
Yeah.
So we wake up, we're like, oh my God, what the crap was that? And then a few minutes later, you're like, what dream? I don't remember it.
Right.
So the best practice is, if you're going to do dream work, is to have a pen or a pencil next to your nightstand. You don't want to have a pen that's really clicky, because just the action of clicking a pen apparently can alter your state.
That's
so you
crazy.
will forget.
Wow. Okay.
You want to streamline the process to make it as easy as possible.
Right.
So this means just get the pen and just start writing. I have not been disciplined enough to do that with my own dream work. But I usually remember my dreams, to be honest. That's the best way to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. Not a lot of people would think that. Just to have a journal next to your bed, a pen or a pencil that doesn't click. And then just as soon as you wake up, just to write it down.
Yeah. And even something like taking the cap off of the pen, you want to just have something that's really easy. Because the more you do between the time that you wake up and writing this down, the more you're probably going to forget, unless it was a really intense dream.
Yeah, then you'll remember that. I've had dreams about some people dying before, and and I just wake up with this sadness, and it's like, I feel like I'm about to cry. It's happened to me before, you know? And that feeling, that sadness, that grief has stuck with me.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole day, and I could still recall it, but I don't think that's a dream that everyone has all the time.
Right.
But
yeah,
definitely keeping a journal next to you would help.
Yeah.
I actually have two friends that wanted me to ask you about their dreams, and I know dreams are very subjective, so I know that you can't really give a very specific reading for them, but I guess you can maybe generalize it. So one of my friends, she keeps having this recurring dream about her teeth crumbling and falling out of her mouth. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I do have a few thoughts. So that sounds like a stressful dream. It sounds very stressful. So what you want to do when you have dreams like that are recurring is ask yourself, what is it in my life that is stressing me out? Because that's a stressful dream. So you're making the connection there.
And she's going through a lot with school and her life and work, and a lot of that is very stressful for her. And I know that she just went through her Saturn return, and Saturn's going retrograde, and it's hitting a lot of her planets. So I think since Saturn represents the skeletal system, it represents your teeth, your bones, I guess you can that might have something to do with it as well. But you're saying it has to do with stress too.
Yeah. So stress, I think, because I've had that dream myself.
A lot of people do.
Yeah. And I think that when I looked it up, I read something like, it's almost, it means that there are some kind of lies that are happening. I connect the teeth and the mouth to the throat chakra and to speaking your personal truth. So that's what I always look at first, because I'm really into the chakras and stuff like that. So, are you living your life to your true potential? Are you speaking your truth when you're stressed out? Are you living according to your own internal guidance system and stuff like that? Because when you're not, that's kind of like a lie, So I just encourage people that have dreams like that to ask themselves. I mean, your intuition will not lie, first of all, but the answer won't change either. So even when you go and ask yourself, that's how you're going to know it's your intuition. The answer will not change.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I hope you're watching, Teresa, or whenever she gets to watch. But that was for you. So your life is not over. You're okay.
Right. It's kind of like, it's warning you about how you're feeling, and are you integrating your feelings? And a lot of times when your feelings are really scary, you're going to have a dream that's scary. That's how the brain interprets it.
Yeah, that is true. Or you're not aware of it. I'm very into the subconscious and the work of Carl Jung. And if you don't approach your shadow side, or if you don't listen to your subconscious, it's going to project some way or another. So it's going to project in your dreams.
Sure.
It's going to project in how you interact with people. So the more you're in tune with your subconscious, however you do it, through meditation, or, I recommend that. But however you get in touch with your subconscious, I think a lot of these fears you have, people will be more inclined to connect to it,
right,
and understand their dreams more, I think.
Yeah, and that's what your dreams are doing, really. It's kind of like projecting. Yeah. It happens through dreams. Exactly. A lot of times we're trying to heal when we're dreaming. That's our only chance to do it when our lives are really hectic.
Yeah, and you don't have time to slow it down, and that's how it happens in your dreams.
Exactly.
And one of my other friends, Lisa, she has these interesting dreams about 2 moons, 1 large moon, and like the earth being thrown off its axis, and like natural disasters and being caused by these 2 moons.
Yeah. That's all out of body stuff. I mean, I truly believe, I love outer space and stuff like that. And I've literally left my body. I've astral traveled, so there's no doubt in my mind that she was just out of her body, and she was remembering that.
And she has done it. She's told me before, like she has had out of body experiences.
Yeah.
So
she's just floating around up there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's really not much else to it.
Yeah. And I tell her not to be scared. It's okay. Like, there are people out there, like, you do it, so you can say that there's no reason to be afraid, right? It's just a natural thing for some people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that a lot of times when you're dreaming, you really are out of body. And even if you have a dream about somebody that you're probably just out of body with them. And you have to understand too that when you do leave your body and you're in these other dimensional planes, there is no sense of space or time. Right. So somebody can be awake and at school, and you could be dreaming of them. That does not mean that they're not there with you.
So are they aware of that as well? I mean, are they dreaming about you too at that time, or is it just that you're with them in another time and space?
I think that you're just with them in another time and space. Yeah. You're with another aspect of them that is living in another.
Wow, that's really cool, actually. I love that. Wow, that's a good way to see that. Not a lot of people would be consciously aware of that, but I think that is a really cool perspective.
Yeah, well, there's 2 ways to approach that. So if you dream about somebody, it's that somebody is symbolic for something. Right. In that case, you would go into that perspective and kind of personify that, as them. I am this person. What do I want? What is my purpose? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What do I think about this dream, But when you use that process, sometimes your answer will be, I am this person. And it won't mean anything other than that. And perhaps that will be valid.
That one dream that I had where I was, crying, breaking down. Like I rarely cry in my dreams. Like I woke up almost in tears. I dreamt that an ex-boyfriend of me was killed. Like he died.
Wow.
And I don't talk to him ever. And I don't understand why I would dream about someone like 2 years later.
Because you let go of his energy. He died to you. Death is a natural occurrence, and it's not. Death is not just physical death of a being. And if you think about grieving, if you lose your iPhone, right? Yeah. That's going to throw you into a tailspin. The grieving process will immediately start. This is the same thing when you're letting go of old relationships and the energy of old relationships. You're going to find a grievance somewhere, and I think that dreams will bring that out as well.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way. I was just like, why? What the F? That's not what I want to dream about, somebody dying. That's so awful.
Yeah.
But I guess it's symbolic. I was like, did this person die? I was like looking it up. It was so intense.
Yeah.
But I swear, I thought that the person really did pass away. And I'm like, holy crap, I have to like look this person up, make sure they're not dead. Like,
Yeah.
it scared me. That's
Or, if you're still intuitively like connected to that person, you could be sensing something that's going on in their life too.
Oh, so maybe the person was in an accident or something. That's how it happened in my dream. They were in a car accident.
Yeah. Or, they had some kind of cataclysmic event that changed them. A lot of times when we have an awakening, it's through hardships and stuff like that. And in a sense, we have that eighth house scorpionic, death and regeneration, phoenix rising from the ashes. So that's all death too. Yeah.
Interesting. And I have my moon there, so perhaps very intuitive or very close intuitive with death. I think maybe, or very connected with in some strange way. All right. Well, that was really cool. If anyone has any questions or comments, it looks like somebody did post a comment on my Instagram. So let me go take a look, see if anyone has any questions about dreams.
Awesome.
So let's take a look. Okay. So my big face here. Oh, hey, Jade. Okay, so my friend Jade is asking you if you're familiar with ascension symptoms, talking about the chakras. Just the other day, I smelled incense burning when there was nothing lit. I see 444 everywhere and get weird body sensations. Let me see what she's saying. Feeling like a vibration from a cell phone. I have weird food sensitivity since I've been meditating. What are these symptoms?
They are exactly what you said. They are symptoms of ascension, and I think that's fantastic. So, gosh, that's a laundry list. Where do I begin?
Yeah.
Feeling the vibrations, that means that you're literally feeling your chakras moving and changing. That's what that is, and I love when that happens.
Wow.
Yeah. What else did she say?
Something about food, getting food sensitivity ever since she started meditating. Yeah.
Yeah, so your body is trying to guide you back into alignment, because what you're doing is you're having ascension symptoms. So that means you're awakening, but you're also, your actual body is trying to attune to a different energetic vibration. I don't know if you're familiar with, a lot of people talk about the dimensions, and that, the world is moving from third dimension into fifth dimension, which is more higher state or whatever.
Right.
But that's essentially what's happening. So your body will respond to all of that. That means that if you've been eating stuff like beef for a long time and beef is now making you sick, well, it's because beef holds a density that does not really resonate with those higher frequencies. So, and when people ask me how to get in tune with their own guidance system, sometimes I tell them, just stop eating dense food, because what you're asking your body to attune to something that it's not resonating with. So you have to try to eat food that's grown by the sun and stuff like that. So, but then the reverse is true. People start awakening and then they have food sensitivities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating. Some people are really going through this. I myself get a lot of ringing in the ears.
That's awesome. That's actually how my stuff began. So when you brought that up, I was like, I just lit up.
Really? Yeah,
So,
I saw that. I felt that, yes.
So how I perceive energy, and because what you described happens to me all the time, and it can drive you crazy, right? Because you don't know why or whatever. But for me, when I get a buzzing going inside of my left ear, that means that there is a more negative or low vibrational energy that I'm dealing with. And at first it made me very, very paranoid. I would be, driving to a restaurant and I would get this buzzing and I'd go, oh my God, my car's going to break down. My tire's going to blow up. But then I get to the restaurant and they're just closed. So all it means is that this isn't the correct way that you want to go. But also, if you're an empath, you could be picking up somebody else's lower vibrations. The reverse is true for my right side. When it goes in the right ear, something really awesome is happening. Yeah.
I get both. I think I get my left a lot more. It's louder in my left than my right. My right, I get it sometimes. But my left, I can hear it a little better. It doesn't last long. It lasts about a couple of seconds. But sometimes I'll get it at work a lot by myself in my
Yes.
office, but nobody's in my office.
Okay.
And I get it in there.
That's what really drove me crazy at first. So what you want to do is look at what you're thinking about when that occurs. Because if you haven't set an intention to have a spiritual awakening and do everything right by yourself, you know what I mean? And be attuned to these higher frequencies, love and light and stuff like that, your intuition or your body will let you know if what you're thinking is not vibing with that and resonating with that intention.
Okay.
So just look, and it's a matter of just looking at what you're thinking. A lot of times I pick this up with clients and I just stop them and I say, what are you thinking about? Sometimes they're not really thinking about anything that's like a big deal, but it still is affecting their vibration to the point where they're creating their reality with that thought. And that's the warning.
So you have to stop, basically. Just change your thought pattern. That's what it's telling me.
Yeah.
Like, I should just think about something. Okay.
Right. But
Whatever
some people suffer from like chronic negativity. So in that case, because I've suffered from that a little bit too through my awakening process, all that really means though is, you know, just look at your thoughts and think, is it true? Or why am I thinking about this? How am I feeling? Am I thinking this because I'm feeling a certain way? And then you're going to go back to the feeling and go, what are my emotions saying? Because your emotions are your sixth sense. I believe that.
I usually, most of the time, I'm not really concentrating on anything. I'm literally not, you know, or I'm doing, I don't have any negativity or any, it's just a very
exactly, but that's the thing.
It's bizarre.
That's why it's happening, because you don't perceive what your thoughts are thinking as negative at the time. And this is why you have this extra sensory coming in and telling you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've had that too, where I'm like, honestly, why?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But then I grow and I develop and I change and I look back and I go, okay, it's not that it was that negative. It's just that that's not who I actually am.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
That's how it happens for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this is a good point to segue into synchronicity, because, you know, I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that. I feel like a lot of people experience it and they're like, oh, I have tinnitus. I'm like, it's not always, I mean, yeah, maybe your doctor's, of course, you have to go to the doctor and you have to get checked out. And I went to the doctor and I don't have tinnitus.
Exactly.
And it doesn't last for that long. But I know some people who suffer from severe tinnitus, and, you know, it's terrible. But
that it's an ailment. And then, so what I've been getting into in the past few months, since I can actually feel other people's ailments, is metaphysical anatomy. And the ears are kind of resonating with your third eye. So when you have tinnitus, you have a little issues with that part of your intuition. But oftentimes ailments can turn into your guidance system, because an ailment can be a secondary type of spiritual awakening. So instead of just boom, spiritual awakening, you actually get yourself into a little bit of trouble here so that you stop whatever it is that you're doing and attune to your guidance system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so interesting. You know, not a lot of people think about their ailments in that regard, but it's such a new perspective that, you know, I think that I hope that anybody who's watching thinks twice about it and thinks of it in this perspective, maybe.
Right. And your body is never against you.
No.
It's just doing the best it can with what it has, and it's responding to your thoughts and your environment and everything, and it wants you to come back to a state of wholeness.
Yeah, it's beautiful, honestly. And and I notice a lot of synchronicity that's been occurring in a lot of people's lives. I notice it all the time. I mean, I'll look at the clock, it's 11:11. I'll look at the clock, it's 1:11, you know?
Right.
It happens a lot, especially this
Yes.
past year and in the end of last year. Like, that was constantly all I was seeing.
Right.
And even talking about something with someone, like, I'll be like, oh, hey, you know, I want to see this movie or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll turn on the TV and then it's right there. Or it's just crazy.
Right. So it's very interesting. So the synchronicity is when you have a coincidence, but it's actually meaningful and it's personal. And the two happenings are not really relating to each other. So they have no casual relationship. That's what synchronicity is. But it's an awakening. Yeah. It's what it is. You're seeing the signs and the patterns, and you're not passing them off for something, you know, oh, that is a coincidence. You're actually seeing it. You're seeing your reality manifesting before you all the time. And numbers, that is honestly such a widespread thing right now. that's how it's coming to people to begin with. That happened to me in 2012, and I could not get away from the number 22. I was like, oh my God, when I left Alaska, that's where I was in 2012. I thought maybe if I just leave this state, it'll stop. And it never stopped. And the numbers just changed. And then the occurrences were different. And then here I am, you know? But so if you are somebody who is seeing numbers all the time, you're not crazy. This is a mass awakening. And a lot of people are getting this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I feel it constantly. And so many other people too. But I feel like a lot of people are just afraid to, I wouldn't say accept it, but just to notice it. Or they're like, oh, whatever, it's just a coincidence. I'm looking at the clock. But, you know, the more you open yourself up to these types of things, like when I open myself up to astrology, synchronicity, studying Carl Jung, the types of people that I meet changed my life. Like I'm meeting people that I never thought I would have ever met. Yeah. And I feel like if more people were more attuned, slowed it down and observed these synchronicities, I believe that their lives would change as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting because, you know, there sometimes I think of the saying, you have to seeing is believing, right? But how can you see something unless you believe it first? And that's what synchronicities really teach us, that believing will cause you to see something. And that's why, you know, maybe a couple of years into this synchronicity story, crazy stuff starts happening and you're like, oh my God. And then it becomes to a point where you don't even relate to people who aren't having these occurrences because you're just so blown out of the water. And then it starts to perpetuate itself.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're talking about synchronicities, and then they just get bigger and better.
Yeah, and those are the types of people that I've been meeting. That's it. I mean, I haven't been, honestly, every single person that I meet is just, oh yeah, of course, I've been seeing this. I've been seeing numbers too. Or yeah, of course, astrology. Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's just crazy when you open yourself up to these types of things.
Yeah. I think like the first 3 years of me experiencing synchronicities was a completely different story. Because I had a battle with the fact that I was brought up thinking or believing that I couldn't relate very well to people as it was. So belief and synchronicity can kind of play with each other a little bit there. So I had the synchronicities happening, but I had nobody to talk to about it.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
I know. And then I moved to Florida and I'm like, where have I been my whole life?
To me.
Where have I been?
God, yes, I was in New York and like nothing. Like it was awful, honestly. I felt like I was trapped. And then coming here, I don't know what happened. It just took off like you.
I heard a lot of, or a couple people told me that they believe that people come to Florida to heal because it's so close to the water and the salt water. So it's a crystalline type because there's so much salt. It actually raises your vibration just being near it. So it's kind of no wonder, you know.
I was by the water a lot in New York, actually.
Yeah.
Because I lived on Long Island and I worked in Montauk before I moved here. And I was on the water like by the ocean almost every day. And I think maybe that's what opened it up for me. I think being on the water by the ocean.
Absolutely.
And doing yoga every day. And I think that's what expanded my mind.
Yeah.
And opened my mind to possibly coming here.
Wow. Yeah. For me, it was like a mess. So I'm like very scorpionic. I had to be like in the closet. You know what I mean? You know how like the Scorpio, they can read between the lines. They can see the skeletons in the closet. I was a skeleton in my closet when my awakening happened. Okay. So yeah, needless to say, here I am.
But you're here now. You're in Florida with like-minded individuals. So
yeah, it's not dark and cold.
No, exactly. That's how it was up there. And Carl Jung, I believe, is the father of synchronicity. I mean, he didn't make synchronicity, but he is the one that needed.
He did develop the term, though.
The term, yes.
Yeah,
not the act of synchronicity, but yeah.
He brought it to light. Yes.
He did. And if anyone is interested in learning more about synchronicity or even the subconscious or psychology, I'm telling you, Carl Jung will change your life.
Absolutely.
It changed mine. And learning about projection, your shadow, and accepting those things and synchronicity. And it just changed a lot in my life. And I think it has for you as well.
Absolutely. I think the shadow is phenomenal when it's brought up correctly, because people in a lot of spiritual people, they're like hiding from the shadow. Like, no, 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 no. But actually, that's what brings you into a state of wholeness so that you can experience all of these amazing things. You do heal. Yeah. And then by virtue of doing so, you're back into the light, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And since we're talking about healing and talking about synchronicity and whatnot, I think it'd be a really good time to get into the Taurus new moon today.
Oh, yeah.
So it occurred around, I think it was like 6 or 8 a.m. And Taurus is a pretty cool sign. And I think having a new moon in there is pretty amazing because it's going to help us find stability, security. We can set our intentions on this one. Mm-hmm. And I think we still have some time. We have like another day. We can set our intentions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and then the moon phase, the moon's actually going into Gemini. So there's no better time to talk about it than now, right? Because Gemini is the chatterbox. Mm-hmm. And then your words set the intention and create your reality. When it comes to the new moon in Taurus, you have to just think about Taurus and what the Taurus is. Fixed sign, earth sign, the bull, kind of stubborn. Their mantra is I have, so they're making decisions a lot of times based on what they have rather than what they think, feel, or do. It's more just having. They want to economize. So I am definitely taking the time to think about what it is that I have. Do I want what I have? Do I need to change that?
Yes.
You know, because that's a great feeling when you're grounded into something that you actually want.
Yes, exactly.
You know? Yeah.
And since it's Taurus, it's very slow moving.
Yes.
So, you know, especially with Mercury in retrograde right now is a really good time to look back on old projects or like decisions or projects you've been working on.
Yes.
And to set your intention for that. Work on it. You know, even though the process feels slow, this new moon and Mercury retrograde is forcing us all to slow it down.
Slow it down and really think about what it is that we truly want.
Yeah.
It's hard to be grounded when the ground that you stand on is shaky, meaning you're not grounded into what you truly want and who you truly are. I love it. And last new moon in Aries was amazing because that was all about action. And this is about, okay, what do I want? Can this create abundance for me? Yeah. Do I want it to? You know?
Yeah. Do you know if it's aspecting any of your planets?
Oh gosh.
No.
I'll have to refer to
your chart. No worries.
Yeah.
It's okay. But it is conjuncting my north node in Taurus, which makes a square to my sun and my Mercury and my Venus.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And all of that's in my second house.
I think it's great. You know, a lot of people say the oppositions and squares in astrology make it harder, but oh my God, have you ever heard diamond in the rough? You need you need that tension to create something amazing.
Exactly.
So it's a powerful time.
It's very powerful, and I do definitely feel that. But hopefully I can get my chart up talking about that displays it, that shows the new moon. But what's really cool is you know, there's other aspects going on too. So I was reading that it's sandwiched between Mercury, which is still retrograde, again, which I was saying that it is going to cause us to focus on slowing down.
And watch what you say too.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Don't jump the gun, because it's often when it's Mercury retrograde, your thoughts haven't really caught up with the occurrence of what's really happening behind the scenes, and everybody can just be confused.
Everything, like a car problem.
And then Taurus likes to just set everything in stone and make it like forever, kind of.
But it's not. Nothing's written in stone.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And I know that on Friday, Mercury is going to conjunct Uranus. All right. So this is going to be very interesting. So if anybody's watching and likes to know about the forecast for the week, this is something that you're going to look to. Because on Friday, Mercury retrograde is going to hit Uranus, right? So basically what's going to happen is, you know, what is Uranus? Uranus is a revolutionary. It doesn't like to follow the rules.
Right.
And it
writes its own rules.
Yeah.
That I for some reason, just like Kanye West popped into my head.
Oh.
because he's a Gemini, but he's known for just saying whatever he thinks. He doesn't really care if it's politically correct because it's true for him. And so because it sounds so random, that reminds me of the Uranus. And
Yeah.
then Mercury retrograde, where you get a bad response from the crowd with whatever you're saying,
So basically, Kanye West is gonna have another
Yeah,
rant on Friday.
People are just going to be popping off, and it's not going to matter. So just don't take it seriously.
Exactly. That's the energy for Friday.
Just
so,
go with how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but slow it down. If someone says something outrageous to you on Friday, or just be like, all right, or it's just that energy going on.
Absolutely.
It's just for a couple of days.
Just go, meh.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Right.
Or in a week.
And I mean, you could be uncovered. Things could be uncovered too. You could be hearing like secrets being uncovered. And
Gossip.
Gossip.
Yeah. But is it true gossip? Is it true?
Yes. You're
You'd have to
gotta
feel
figure
it out.
that out. Yeah. And another really cool one that's coming up is Venus. Friday. It's leaving Pisces. It's leaving.
Aw, it's leaving my sign.
I know it is, aren't you?
Boom, boom.
So you probably feel that.
Yeah.
It's gonna go back into Aries.
Well, Neptune is sitting cozy in Pisces, so I'm okay. 'Cause that's my ruling planet.
Yeah.
So it's been okay since that started.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I feel invincible.
Wow. Good for you.
I'm not really. I'm just kidding.
No.
But that's what, I mean, honestly, if you're Pisces,
Yeah.
with Neptune being in your home sign, it's the best time to just do you and not worry about it.
That lasts a while too. That's a slow moving planet.
Heck yeah.
So Pisces are gonna
Long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be good for you guys for quite some time.
Yes.
But Venus doesn't like Aries. It likes Pisces. So now it's gonna go back into Aries, and it's detriment in Aries. And I think what it's going to do, it's going to help us finish up the lessons that we were learning during Venus retrograde. So I think that everything that occurred during the retrograde, everything's going to come to light when it hits Aries.
Yeah.
So this weekend will probably be quite interesting as well when that happens. And another aspect that I think is very interesting that'll be coming up in May is Saturn and Uranus. They're going to make a trine. So all that hard work and that rebelliousness you might have, like it's gonna work together. Yeah.
It would create change, right?
Oh yeah, structure change. It's gonna be change, but structured. It won't be like off the wall crazy or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of reminds me of like there are no rules. That's what it means, because the Saturn and the Capricorn energy are about rules and restrictions and just committing to something and seeing it through. And then Uranus is like, but what about this? This is happening. This is new. And honestly, I don't like this system.
But they're trying, so they're gonna
hold hands.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so cute. I'm gonna
hold
that.
hands.
I love it. Yeah, it's definitely really, really interesting time. And I think that these energies are really positive. I think May is going to be a really great month, honestly.
Yeah.
Energetically. And if anybody wants to set intentions, I think today, tomorrow, I think this is just a really great time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that you have your cards out. Did you want to maybe do a reading, how maybe the collective energy is feeling?
I can tune into everybody watching and everybody that will watch.
Yeah.
And I'll do a card reading, and this will be kind of like overall collectively who's watching.
Okay.
Or I could just do America. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not sure. I guess maybe the world or society, maybe how everyone's like the energies of the world right now. What's
the energy of the world? Okay.
Or the however you want to do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that the people that see this, they get something from it. So
or whoever's watching, whatever's easier, because maybe that's more focused for you.
Well, it's easier for me to draw right now. But yeah, let's do it. So this is what we need to know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So hold on. Let me just go ahead and get the energy moving. I use 3 decks, by the way. I have to show these decks because what happens when I go live with cards like these is people will ask me what decks I used.
Okay.
So I have to announce what decks these are.
Yeah, absolutely. You can put it up to that camera right over there.
This one? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is...
You can walk it over to it because it's pretty far.
Nah,
No?
I think they'll get the idea.
Okay.
I'll say who it is.
You'll say who it is? Okay.
This deck is Ask Your Guides by Sonia Chiquette. I use them all together. This one is Indigo Angel Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. I love it because I'm an indigo.
Oh, Awesome. Indigo child.
Yeah. Indigo adult. And then this one is the very classic Rider-Waite tarot card deck. And I love this deck. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just get the energies moving, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to give it a good shuffle.
Oh, what does that mean?
Honestly, this happens sometimes, and sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's just the way of shuffling. There we go. Usually one falls out, and I'm like, all right, cool. Okay.
What card is that?
Okay, that's the Five of Cups in reverse.
5 of Cups. Okay. And you do read them reversed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I use the cards, I'm kind of like, rules are, there are no rules. So my description of the cards are not something that is like from the literature of the books. You know what I mean? So I use these in congruence with one another, and this is how I do it. So this is a theme here that people are kind of focusing on. The theme is of judgment, right? So how do we judge ourselves? That's kind of what we're looking at right now. And also, it's a really good time to ease up on yourself, and you want to take yourself a little bit less seriously, but at the same time, judging is a good thing. You know, you want to figure out what it is that you want, what you don't want. It goes hand in hand with the Taurus energy,
I was
right?
thinking that, yeah.
So, and they can be a little judgmental and stubborn too. Not to offend
no
any
offense,
of
Taurus.
the Tauruses out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a shadow aspect. So judgment. So that is a theme. But then what you also have here is the Five of Cups in reversed. Five of Cups is, first of all, it's a watery card.
Yes.
And it's the 5. So what I do is I break it down into the symbolism. The cups represent water. These are your emotions, right? And the picture depicts somebody losing 3 cups and keeping 2 cups. So this means that maybe you do have to walk away from some kind of emotional attachments, but just remember that you do have some good ones still behind you and for you, right? So it's kind of like, when you put them together, it's like, are you judging yourself based on how you're feeling? Can you let some feelings go? Can you let some people, places, or things go that cause you to have bad feelings and stuff like that? The angel card guidance is expression. This means that you're being urged to express your truth to the best of your ability.
Regardless of being judged, right?
Regardless of being judged, but not only that, expressing yourself in your authenticity. You know, when we think about Taurus and grounding into the earth, you really want to ground into your authenticity. That's really important. Otherwise, you're not really grounding. You're grounding into shaky ground.
That's so amazing. That's so perfect with the new moon. Yeah, it coincides with it perfectly, honestly.
Absolutely. But even with judgment, the picture in this card depicts people being put under a microscope. You know, don't do that to yourself. Don't pick yourself apart. What you want to do is, follow your emotional guidance. That means if it doesn't feel good in your body, then it's probably just not good for you. Don't try to mold yourself into somebody else's standards, right?
A lot of people do that, and I've been guilty of doing that.
We all do it. Yeah. So that's what I have for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. It does definitely coincide with the new moon in Taurus, and Taurus rules the 5th house in astrology. What is the 5th house? The house of creativity. And it's interesting that you pulled up the expression card, because what better way to express yourself than from being creative? Right. So it coincides with that as well in a way.
Well, I also chose, what came out was the 5 of Cups. So this is also a number 5.
Yeah.
The 5.
5th house. Wow. Yeah.
Right. So the 5th house in astrology represents siblings and fun and stuff like that. And the number 5 in numerology means freedom of expression, just freedom and spontaneity, just freedom.
That's
freedom,
my
freedom,
number,
freedom.
actually. Numerology, that's my number 5.
Mine's a 1.
Oh.
So we get along. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so expressing yourself is a very number 5 thing to do. The freedom to just say what you feel and trust that you will draw to you people who accept that, you know, and those friendships will be strong, you know?
Yeah, it's true. If you're true to yourself, you'll attract like-minded individuals to you. I believe that so much.
Yeah, you'll create your reality and all those amazing synchronicities that go along with it.
Absolutely. Let me just take a look and see if anybody wrote anything, if they want any a reading on something particular, or if they have any questions. Let's see here. Okay. All right. No, it was just Jade saying thank you, and I'm so happy that we can help. Very sweet. Thank you for watching every week.
Awesome.
Yeah, so is there anything else that maybe you'd like to add about what you do, about your business, how people can contact you, how they can schedule a reading with you?
Okay. Well, I'm working on a website. It's not up yet because it's
Mercury retrograde?
Mercury retrograde,
Wait,
yeah.
wait after
But honestly, yeah.
That's what
No,
I'm doing.
I'm actually creating a network with my website because True Potentials is all about helping people step into their true potentials. And I love to support that even after it happens. So that means that I'll be promoting the services and products of those who have stepped into their true potentials, because what you'll find is more often than not, once you step out of that mainstream, I believe I have to do this kind of society, you find that you're really not that supported sometimes. So that's what I'm all about, really. And I do this through spiritual coaching. The best way to contact me right now is through Facebook, facebook.com/potentials with Rose. There you'll find a list of services and the different prices and stuff like that. And then I'll probably be going live from that page soon just to do these simple card readings. And it's my way of giving back too.
Aww.
I love doing that and connecting. It's very interactive. But yeah, so I'm a clairvoyant, psychic medium. So that means that I do spirit messages. I love to help people through the grieving process. If they have lost a loved one, what you'll find is that you haven't really lost them at all. The minute you think about somebody that is passed on, they are right there. Like, believe it, lickety split. And that actually reminds me of your friend saying that she smelled incense when nobody was around.
Yes.
Somebody was around.
Yeah.
That's another way that
you hear that, Jade? Someone was around.
Yeah, our loved ones actually try to get our attention through that the smells, because our senses and our nose have like this storage place in our brain, so it's easy to remember people through the way they smell. A lot of times.
That's amazing. And what about dreams? Do they?
I do dream interpretations, and that's just like a 30-minute phone call, and it's really fun to coach people through that, because what I remember, I did a dream interpretation, and somebody basically just realized that she was with the collective consciousness trying to change something about the way the world is. You know what I mean? So sometimes you're in that space when you're out of your body, and your brain, when you come back into your body, your brain interprets all of it for you. I love it. So yeah, I mean, I do it all. That's and amazing. Then so my most popular reading is called Divine Potential. And with that, you get a brief natal chart summary as a part of the Divine Potential. So it's a life path thing, but it's different for everyone. Sometimes it's all mediumship. Sometimes it's all coaching or seeing where you're at. But I always squeeze in the natal chart reading.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think astrology is so important, and I think that it can bring clarity to any type of work that you do, mediumship, clairvoyant, whatever work you do. I think astrology can bring a lot to it too. Yeah,
especially with true potentials, because that's the goal, is to get people to align back and live and get by with living in their authenticity.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I do the astrology part. At the end of it, it's coming back home to who you are. You remember who you are when you look at your natal chart. And then I go, okay, so you have your moon in Cancer in the 8th house.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
If you are not aligning with this, then you're not living in your true potential.
You're not. And if you fight it, it's going to work against you. You have to work with it. That's what I tell my clients too.
Yeah, some of those more deeper emotional, harder aspects in the chart are actually your calling. It's part of your calling a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yep.
Very cool. Well, thank you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all of Rose's information under the link on this video. You can find her on Instagram at Potentials with Rose.
Yes.
And then you can also find her on Facebook, Potentials with Rose as well, or True Potentials. You'll definitely find her there. And if you're watching on Facebook right now, I'm going to be posting a comment in the comment section with all of Rose's information. So thank you so much again.
Thank you for having me. It's so cool to meet you and be here.
Oh, likewise. And I can't wait for more of our classes with Ron.
Ron is amazing.
Yeah.
He wrote the greatest story never told.
Yes.
And I think it's important for baby boomers to read it.
Mm-hmm. Ron Watson,
yes.
famous South Florida astrologer. You can definitely Google him. It's Aquarian Awakening.
Yes.
.com. If you go there, you can read more about him. But again, thank you so much, Rose. And thank you guys for watching Moonlight Astrology. Be back next Wednesday.